If he changed the name to drop down.
Hello, folks. Good afternoon, and welcome to another edition of Football Live. Only the three of us today, chaps. We're one short, so we'll got plenty to talk about, though. Plenty. So, how you been then, Dan?
I'm good, mate.
All in your Palace shirt.
Yeah, full kit. What's its name today? We haven't got the shorts on, but I've been heavy on the piss. Yeah. I've been on the piss for 2 days solid, so I haven't seen a lot of football, to be honest. Catching up today, but no, I'm good, mate. Thank you.
Yeah, well done, Nigel. How are you, mate?
Yeah, all good, mate. Premier started Friday. It seems like we're back to normal again now, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Good evening, Ben. Welcome to you, sir. Okay, look, first and foremost, let's just get this out of the way. Well done, the Lionesses. Deserved win there. They picked it up. I think the world's talked about all that plenty. We'll move straight on. So well done them. The football season's back and alive and kicking. Your team opening up events on Friday night, getting beat by Arsenal in the Premier League. So, any highlights, Dan, from this weekend's sport?
Well, like I said, I've been otherwise engaged, but I did catch a bit of the Palace game. Funny enough, I watched it down in Brighton, which probably wasn't the best place to watch it. But I caught a few games yesterday. I watched the game earlier today, West Ham Man City. It's so hard to tell because the game today was very slow and it was quite boring, to be honest. West Ham just set up to defend like many teams do, and the only thing I've sort of realised is that Haaland, whatever his name is going to be banging in plenty of goals this season.
Well, that was predicted.
Yeah.
So I see Rover got to mention it because Simon, but Rovers winning 4-0. That was a big one, wasn't it?
They sent off in the first minute.
Previous week, did they?
No.
What's this one we got? Matt, Ben, Andy, welcome on board, gentlemen. Thought Palace were unlucky. In all fairness, thought they played well. Arsenal looked decent. I think they've had a really good transfer market, Arsenal, haven't they? In all fairness,
they look really good the first half. We couldn't get the ball off them. They looked like a Man City team, but we did have a chance to get a goal back to make it 1-1. We missed it, but I think they probably deserved the win. So yeah, they look like they could have a good season. I think Arsenal.
Yeah. Well, I don't like talking about Premier League, but being it's the first weekend of the season, we will. I've just got to say, Nigel, what are your thoughts on the Liverpool result 2-2 at Fulham?
I watched the game. I mean, the big question for me this year was, would Mitrovic be able to score in the Premier like he did in the Championship? And he started off on fire. Reading the papers today, it was interesting to hear Klopp say that he was disappointed that they had such a good display last week and they looked really sharp. And this week, he said they weren't on it. And, maybe is it now that their players are getting too confident that it's a 3-horse race for the league and, we're playing Fulham, it'll be an easy game. I don't know. But it's happy days for Man City at the moment with the results this weekend.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that's
played quite well, didn't they? Really,
that is the hardest thing, when players are when we finished second to Liverpool, first year Watford were in the top league, the only reason we never won that league that year was because we never beat the teams that were at the lower end of the league that we should have beat. And I think that's when you get Liverpool's and the Man City's winning the titles, they're beating all the teams. So really, to drop points to Fulham and teams like that, that's what's going to lose you the league.
Yeah. That's a massive 2 points coming into the season, isn't it? Looking at last season, isn't it?
Yeah.
Huge. Yeah.
I one thing I've got to say, good evening, Ian, as well there. And we've got Matt on there saying, what were your predictions for the season? We've done all them last week, Matt, to be fair, but I think we were quite open about the Premier League, weren't we? It was sort of probably unanimous. It's between City and Liverpool with Tottenham, Arsenal. I don't think Man United are going to have a good season. I think Tottenham, Arsenal, Chelsea battling it out for the other two places. I think, big result today going down at home to Brighton.
They was poor, Man United. Didn't look any different.
I think they are going to be. I really don't think there's going to be a big improvement there myself, but we shall see.
They need some
I'm going to say one last thing about the Liverpool result. Do you know what? I actually, when Klopp came to Liverpool and it's seen his progression, I'm not a Liverpool. I'm not that fond of Liverpool, as I've been quite open about. But anyway, that's mainly because of other reasons. But Klopp, mate, I really like the guy, but I've gone right off him lately because all he does is moan.
He always has done, hasn't he?
Moan about too many games, and then they go and lay on an extra friendly because they ain't had enough.
He said the grass was too dry. Mate,
have you had managers who moan and make excuses before games and all that? Does that give the player an excuse before the game started? Does that put them in the wrong mindset, or is it more of a siege mentality where they're all?
I don't know, really. I mean, you sort of, as a player, when you go into that dressing room, you sort of get in your own zone. But I can understand if he's saying that the pitch was too dry, because sometimes when there's a bit of water on the grass, the ball zips around a bit quicker. So I suppose if you're a team like Liverpool or City that play at a high tempo, maybe can't get your game going that well without a bit of water on the pitch. But there's no rules that says that you can't play in a dry pitch. So fucking get on with it, you know what I mean?
You think their multi-millionaire players would be able to play on any surface, really, wouldn't you?
I'd love to have seen them on the AstroTurf at QPR when that first come out.
Yeah, exactly. Just touching on a couple of bits there as well. David Lovegrove, you can't polish shit, deal with it, Man United fans. You know what? I mean, we put it slightly different ways. I think we're still going to have a poor season. David put it a totally better way, even. Alex was said, great opening weekend. Now, this is an absolute good point, actually. Great opening weekend with one or two unexpected results. We just touched on Fulham. But he said, my team Villa were extraordinarily poor. What a result for Bournemouth, beating Villa. And very poor-looking Villa side. You know what? I think Gerrard has got to cut his mustard this year, or he is not going to be the manager people were hoping he was. He has got to show some strength, hasn't he, and show some character.
The end of the season, he weren't great, was it? They tailed off a bit, didn't they? So
this is a defining, Alex, I don't know if you agree, but I do think defining moment for Steven Gerrard this year, without a doubt. It's make or break this season for his career. That's my view. Ian Hales, not absolutely. We mustn't not say about Tottenham looking very sharp. I think we got it right. I mean, probably Arsenal. I'd be if I was Chelsea. I think, I think Tottenham Arsenal could battle out for third and fourth. I know it's only one game in, but
I still don't think they've got the metal in the side. I think when it's good for Arsenal, they win. And when it's going against them, you get nothing out of them. And that's been the same for the last 3 or 4 years now. So I still don't think you'll see a London side winning the league this year.
No,
there's too much going on.
No.
Too many distractions, contracts, off the field contracts going on down there.
I think we all agreed last week it's a 2-horse race. I think we all put the edge to Man City on that one. But
Ben Cliff says Gerrard has the same win percentage as Gary Neville at Valencia.
And Alex, the supporter there, has said he don't think he's going to get past November, judging by the end of the season results in yesterday.
He made a big call getting changing the captain to begin to from the who was the centre? There was a centre back, the big the England player, wasn't it? Can't think of his name now. But he used to get a lot of criticism from Villa fans anyway. There was the big centre back at Villa, plays for England. He was the captain last season. Someone help us in the comments.
Alex, help us out, mate.
Mine's got a blank on him.
Okay, we got Leon, first time watcher, just waiting for my McDonald's. But I'll be a regular after. Oh, thanks, Lee. Brilliant. Look,
Mings, that's right.
Lee, we talk about a lot of stuff. We're talking about Premier League now. Trust me, mate, it is on the back burner with us most of the time, and we do like to give a lot more focus on the other leagues, non-league football and the like. But obviously, being the first weekend of Premier League, we will give them some focus today, but you'll get it straight from us. So welcome on board, and we're glad you're going to come on again.
I've just to say about the Premier League, I think we can't judge anything yet. It's another 4 weeks for the transfer window. So Chelsea and Man United look out of it a minute, but they could come in, couple of signings, and all of a sudden.
Oh no, I do agree. I just got a feeling about United that their recovery is probably a year. I think I can see them being at the top end, but I just think that they're coming out of the back of such a significant drop and problems at the club with the players by the looks of it. And the Ronaldo thing, what an arrogant little brat.
De Jong, they haven't got yet, have they? He's a major part of his plan. They still the midfield still the two from last year, Fred and McTominay.
They took Fred off though, didn't they?
Yeah, but they're just two good players, but they're not going to win you anything.
Ericsson came on, didn't he?
He dropped really deep, didn't he? Done all right. But it just looks. It's probably going to take a few weeks for them to get into their system. But I just think they're.
I think United's going to take a lot longer than that myself. But we'll see. Let's have a little run through the Premier League results and just let's see what our opinions are. We've covered off enough with the Fulham Liverpool. We've spoke about Bournemouth Villa. Leeds 2, Wolves 1. This was yesterday's results. Greg last week tipped Wolves for relegation. A much needed start at home for Leeds as well, I would imagine that was. It's quite a big result.
I think Wolves' manager would be gone. Probably one of the first to go. I think the fans are on his back, like we said last season already, weren't they?
Greg seems to have got the number up there, Molyneux, and he lives up there locally, so he can get, he's gauged the feeling, and they went 2-1 down there. Newcastle 2, Forest 2. Newcastle haven't overspent, have they? But look like they're going to be doing all right. Forest, just baptism of fire for them, but from what I can gather, they look quite good. The Newcastle fans were saying Forest were quite a difficult side to break down, and I reckon they'll do all right this season. They've spent a few bob, haven't they?
Lots of money, no. I think Lingard's a good. Sorry, go on, Nigel.
I was going to say, it's like you say, though. I mean, Newcastle haven't spent a lot so far, but probably they might be just waiting to see how they start the season off. If they win the next game, there could be a couple more signings still to come in the next few weeks. So, I don't think the signings are finished yet.
No,
good manager there, aren't they? I think that's the main thing with him.
If you win your first 3 games and you're thinking we're on a roll here, let's strengthen the squad a bit, or let's improve on it even more. The Saudis that have got all the money might say, "Yeah, go ahead."
Yeah,
definitely.
True. We've touched on Tottenham 4, Southampton 1. Southampton, another side that could struggle this season, though, aren't they? I think. Yeah,
definitely. They brought a few players in, but it's Tottenham's an hard place to go, isn't it? I think they've got that bit still that they haven't had before with Conte. His ways have now got into the club. I think they're going to be really good this season.
Everton 0, Chelsea 1. I think Everton are tipped for having a bad season, let's be honest.
They had Jordan, what's his name up front, didn't they? Gordon. The fullback.
James Corden.
James Corden. That's better things to go. Hey, sorry,
then.
What's it? The young fullback Gordon looks like the bird off the telly. Oh, I can't think of her name now. I can't think of anything. I'm still pissed. Sorry, lads. But I think he played up front, didn't he? That shows how they're short on forwards and they've got some injuries, haven't they?
Yeah, I mean, looking at today's. Sorry, go on, Nigel.
I've got to say they seem like they had a few chances. Everton. I don't think they've lost in a bad way. It looked like they played well against Chelsea, but like I say, you've got to put chances away, ain't you?
Yeah.
Well, it'd be interesting to see how that goes. Then quickly we've touched on Man United. They've lost at home. Like I say, with West Ham 0, Man City 2. We're going to touch on something about West Ham, but it ain't about the football in a minute. But again, Haaland getting 2 goals. That's just a big statement. Massive statement, isn't it?
Yeah.
First game, bang, 2 goals. And then the other one was Leicester 2, Brentford 2. Interesting, this one, because I think with Leicester, they've not bought a player yet they've got rid of a number of top players. I think there's a nervousness about Leicester, what's happening up there. And then obviously Brentford again, everyone's sort of put the hangman's noose around their neck for this season, haven't they?
Mm.
And
expecting
them to drop, so 2-2, probably a better result for Brentford than Leicester.
Yeah,
I would say.
Yeah, definitely. Brentford, I think they're losing Eriksen's massive, wouldn't it? But they always seems to pick up players out of nowhere, don't they? Brentford and
So
yeah, they scout for players that are doing it in different countries and whatnot, and they get this stats on them, and they manage to buy them in cheap, don't they? And then sell them on for a lot of money.
yeah.
So their scouting system's good.
So
very good.
we're going to move away from the Premier League, and so many games. I mean, obviously, qualifying round for the FA Cup started on Friday, believe it or not. Friday night, there was a number of games. If we went through the fixtures and the results of the FA Cup, we'll be here all day. There's so many. We're going to skip by and just say to all the clubs that are in the FA Cup this weekend and the next 3 weekends of the qualifying rounds, good luck and enjoy it. It's a wonderful competition for lower league clubs, non-league clubs, and there's some amazing, achievements can be made by the non-league, and it's good for them. So, wishing every club involved good luck. Standout games in the Championship. I'll run through what I think are a couple of them. I know Ben's already mentioned Stoke Blackpool. He said Stoke looked really, really good. I've tipped Blackburn to be up there or thereabouts. They got a good 3-0 win away at Swansea. Norwich got the 1-0 at home with Wigan. Sunderland getting a looked like a cracking game up there. Bristol City 2, Sunderland 3. So a good result for Sunderland coming up. QPR 3-2 Middlesbrough. That was a good result for them. Just dropping down a league. Derby going down 1-0 to Charlton there. Obviously, we've mentioned the 4-0 Bristol Rovers. Bolton getting a 3-0 win over Wickham. Wickham's one of my tips for doing well this year, but along with Bolton, but a good win there, 3-0 for Bolton. Sheffield Wednesday getting a win at MK franchise, 1-0. And Oxford Cambridge, 1-0 to Oxford. They won the boat race. Quickly, just drop onto League Two. I'm looking for outstanding results there. I'm just going to bring up, someone's brought up saying that Barrow off to a good start and Stevenage off to a good start this year. And Stevenage beating Stockport. Who made Stockport favourites to win that league? I didn't get that. Why on earth how could they be made favourites to win that league? I mean, they've lost the first 2. They could get a lot better. I'm really surprised at that. That surprised me. And on the evidence so far, you do what you would expect them. It's going to be a bit of a transition from jumping up. but I dare say they do well, and they deserve to. Big club. Let me just see if I've missed anything. Guys.
Damien said Derby should have been 3 or 4 up at half time.
Really? Not taking long season ahead, Sutton second season syndrome. So Sutton United, I hope that good luck to them. But what was their result? Let's have a quick look.
They lost 2-1 at Doncaster, Sutton.
Yeah, Doncaster come down, didn't they? So, well, you're right. Let's see, Andy, whether they'll get second syndrome there. My prediction of Crewe getting promoted back to league looks solid. Back to League Two. Crewe getting and I actually tipped Harrogate for the playoffs, but Crewe getting a 3-0 win there at Harrogate. Yeah, you're right. Good results. Like I say, dropping down. Let's go non-league. Big results. Solihull Moors beating Aldershot 4-1. Let's have a look. Dorking getting they were 2-0 down at Chesterfield. Their first game in National League.
That's a great result. But there was 10 men though. Chesterfield up for 27 minutes. But
so there was a 2-2. Notts County getting a 3-0 win there against the other newly promoted side, Maidenhead. No, they're not promoted. I'm thinking of Maidstone. Yeah. Notts County, and then Southend losing 1-0. Both them clubs are going to be coming up in our funny slot very, very shortly. Guys, you've got to stay on for what we got coming up. Seriously. Dave Lovegrove, Wealdstone. What did they do then? 3-2 against Bromley. Your local side there.
You've got Andy Mack alone, I think. So it's two injury time goals for Donny in the 92nd and 95th minute. How many supporters would have missed them goals?
Yeah.
When them gates open 10 minits from time, how many supporters?
It is a bad habit of fans to leave the games early.
I've run back in many a time on my way out.
Yeah. And then Wrexham getting a 2-1 win against Eastleigh. Obviously, Wrexham, I would say probably favourites, aren't they, for that league?
They've got to go up, the money they've spent.
Yeah, just going to touch on a couple in the National North and South. My local club, Kettering, going 2-1. And I can never Flide. I don't know how you pronounce that one.
Fiddle.
I'm sorry if you support them. What ones did I want to point out? I wanted to point out Chippenham. Chippenham are good friends of the show, and they got stuff 3-1 at Ebbsfleet. And we will get Simon, who is the finance director at Chippenham. We'll get him on the show soon and have a good chat about the National League South. Anyone got any other comments I want to make about non-league football?
Well, I just want to, Andy Max, I worked with Andy, and when I went to Cheshunt and Hook last season, for our vlog we did.
Yeah, I noticed that. Yeah,
Andy was there as well, and but they've managed to keep up. They haven't got demoted. They're in another league. They've been put sideways in another league, so they didn't go down. So it's a massive breath of fresh air for them.
If Andy's obviously watching, are they in a better league, because that other league was hurting them, wasn't it? Really?
Yeah, it's more of a local league. It's not as far as Kent. Yeah, and but they've got some great load of new signings in, and they won 2-0 at Selzy yesterday. So things looking good. I think Andy's going to Billingshurst in the week to go and see them. So but they've signed some good players, and I think they could have a good season this year, which is good. So I'll try and get down there again.
Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna while we're touching on the non-league scene. Yes, Macclesfield last year they played what was it, a friendly or a cup game or something against Connelgulster. I can't pronounce that either. But it was a local derby. I think it was a friendly, But anyway,
Congleton.
Congleton. It was major grief there, and it was really massive. We put posts up about it. It's probably one of our biggest viewed posts. Well, they've been at it again. They had a real tear up again, haven't they?
Yeah.
Against mate, someone. Wivenshaw, is it?
Wivenshaw. Shall I put the video up, or do we not want to promote it? But it's
Nah, I wouldn't bother with it, Danny.
Nah.
Probably not.
But the Wivenshaw have come out,
put it up on the page.
It's on the page, yeah. Wivenshaw have come out with a statement, though. They said they obviously condemn any violence, and both clubs have. But then their official statement ended with, and also we discussed how our players were treated because we had only one tray of cheese sandwiches in the dressing room after. from.
So there was more attention about the fact the players only had one plate of cheese sandwiches out of the game.
But you think Macclesfield are quite very rich club at that level, aren't they? Spent a lot of money. They can only give them one plate of cheese sandwiches, so you can see why they're pissed off about it.
I'll tell you what, right? Okay, folks, you ready for a bit of a giggle now? We're gonna have a bit of a giggle. So we've got some really funny stuff that's been going on. So this is a great time to do it. So let's start with. Let's talk about Southend. And then we move to Notts County. So Southend United just sold the naming rights of one of their stands. It was actually their West Stand, and the company that they have sold the rights to is a company called Gilbert and Rose. And the stand is now officially called the Gilbert and Rose West Stand. Someone got something wrong there, didn't they? The Gilbert and Rose West Stand. That just ain't right, is it? And they've stuck with it.
Have they?
Yeah, they've stuck with it, I've heard. I don't know, but it is funny, though. I mean, you've got to see the funny side. I know Rose Weston's a right twat, but hope she suffers. But because that twat's still alive, I think she is, isn't she?
Yeah.
But yeah, isn't it funny, that one? Gilbert.
I see another stand cup. It's called the Stanley Bell End. It's called
Where's
Stanley
that?
Bell. I don't know, but I see a picture of the name Stanley Bell End.
Oh, brilliant! Look, we got to touch on. I think we got a picture. We'll go up in a minute, but Notts County. I'm not sure that they treat their players quite right, do they? What they name their players. I mean, have a look at this picture. Talk about dodgy photography. Oh man, that's brilliant. Oh, the player's name is James Hunt. No.
I bet the cameraman was going just over a little bit, just to your left a little bit.
Mate, that is. Put it up again. That is just brilliant.
I've lost it.
Just have a look at this, folks. Oh dear.
He was probably asking the cameraman why he was laughing.
Oh mate, that's just brilliant, isn't it? Isn't it brilliant?
It could have included the Y as well, actually.
Oh, what a brilliant. And then we got another one. This is whoever is it Heaton Town or whatever they're called. Their social media person needs to wobble his head a bit, as you'll see. There you go. Have a look at that. Penrith have a shit, but Purvis gets down well to save it.
Someone replies though, was it a solid effort?
What, mate? Brilliant. This is brilliant. We're finding these absolutely brilliant. Penrith have a shit. I think he's meant shot, but Purvis, that's what makes me laugh. Purvis gets down and saves it. Oh dear, he must have had a lot of shit in his hands. But anyway,
he's a good shot stopper.
Oh, right, it ain't finished. What we got? We got. I think one more, haven't we? Let's have a look.
It was an own goal, or not very good goal in the FA Cup preliminary yesterday.
Yeah, let's bring that one in. Right, have a look at this for an own goal.
Get ready, Leon. Yes, thank you. Watch over. Yeah. Leon, walk on his toes.
Yeah, I'm not sure how he's managed that. So much flying out from the back.
And then the other thing, the last one is this, and I have seen it kicking about for quite a while now, so it isn't new. But if one thing you always like to have is the train, you can get off it and walk straight in the ground or straight in the pub. Wouldn't it be lovely? Well, you ain't gonna get any nearer to this ground for an away day.
Yeah, wouldn't fancy taking a throw on that side.
So the clever guys, they would pull the cord, have an emergency stop, jib off the train, and get in free.
Yeah.
Okay, that wraps up our funny 5 minutes, and that was funny. That was brilliant. Okay, so a little bit more serious notes now then. So going to bring up the Coventry pitch situation. Obviously, their game today has been postponed because of the state of the pitch. So they've been playing the Commonwealth Rugby Sevens, and they've had some rock pop concerts at the stadium, and they obviously play rugby on it, and they deemed that unfit to play on. Oh my God! What would that have been like in the 80s, Nige? I mean, all right, this shit, isn't it? But come on.
You should have played at a baseball ground, mate.
Yeah.
That's spot the blade of grass on there.
Mate, I went to just before lockdown. It was literally just before lockdown. We got beat at Tranmere on a Thursday night. Oh, it was horrible. Horrible, foggy, horrible night. Mate, it was like Blackpool Beach. It wasn't a pitch. It was sand. So, don't get me wrong. If they deem it unsafe, they deem it unsafe. But
they want it too perfect now, Gaz. Harping back to Klopp saying that there weren't enough water in the grass, and that pitch is playable. Get on with it. Just get the flags up, get the goal nets up, and get the game on. There's nothing wrong with it.
No.
Yeah, no, and I think I looked at the pitch. I mean, here's a question, I suppose, I didn't want to say this, but one of the things that happened with the women as well, there was a lot of, I think that Alex Scott slated clubs for not wanting to use their grounds in the summer. The problem is a lot of clubs resurface and redo their pitches in close season, ready for the new season. So the question is, I looked at the state of the Watford pitch on Friday. From distance, it looked fine. Close up, you could see it was not anywhere near the quality it normally is. And that was because of the 2 Elton John concerts that had gone on just recently on the pitch. So your question has to be, is in a closed season, how much can they use these stadiums? If this is the result and the pitches get that damage, or is it because we're so early into the season? Would that 2 weeks or whatever it would have been more made a difference because of the World Cup coming in? I don't know.
Probably a bit of everything, Gal, isn't it? It's probably a little bit of everything. But I'm just remembering, was it the FA Cup replay? They couldn't play at Wembley between Chelsea and Leeds. Was that the game? Because the Horse of the Year show was on the a couple of days before. No, that really dirty final.
Can't remember.
Remember that? 70s? Someone will probably pop up with a minute. But yeah, they had to play it somewhere else.
Yeah.
The replay final. But
I mean, the Charity Shield was moved so that not to damage the pitch for the women's final on the Sunday, wasn't it? So it was moved to Leicester. So there was no damage on the pitch. So look, clearly, if that's what they're going to do at Wembley, and clearly looking at the state of Coventry, as I say, I think the pitch at Watford on Friday looked bad when you got a close-up of it. It does show you that these clubs do need a period of time that they need to sort their pitches out for a new season, I suppose. If they want it at the standard they want it.
How does this hosepipe ban? I don't think it's coming in all areas yet, but how's that going to affect football stadiums? Do they get dispensation to still walk their pitches, or they can't be excluded from that, can they? Water bans, hosepipe bans, and hosepipe ban, isn't it?
Good point.
Who knows?
I don't know what to say.
But then it's another sort of thing for saying 4G, 5G pitches. Why a lot of non-league teams have them now, don't they? So what's the reasons they don't have them in the Premier League or in the EFL? Why don't they ever? What's the reasons they don't have it?
I mean, when I was down at Billericay, I went on the pitch, and I mean, I many years ago played at Luton a couple of times for a company, because they used to rent the pitch out. I scored a goal at Luton. And
was it like that one we watched earlier, Gal, the back pass?
Oh, mate, it was dreadful goal. It's so fluky. The keeper said to me, the only reason you got that ball past me is because I couldn't work out what the fuck you were doing. And I went, I didn't know what I was doing. I just suddenly had the ball in front of me in the net, and I thought, oh dear. No, but seriously, there is a huge difference to what the AstroTurf was to what these pitches are now. They do feel like grass, is a lot better, but I don't know what the future holds. I suppose
it's embarrassment that you can't, isn't it? It's ridiculous. So whether it's the fault of Wasps or who owns the ground, who's in charge of that? Who's the ground staff? Is it the rugby club or the football team? Or
I don't know. It's such a messed up. I don't know.
But I know in this world we live in, is safety and all this red tape. But yeah, they're going to call more games off than they would have done years ago because of insurance, the amount of players are worth. It's just no way it should have got that bad.
Not football. So footy clubs get the rough end of the deal, right? So what Andy's saying is the Watford pitch is fine. You're right, absolutely. It just isn't up to the quality. You could see some bare patches in that, which is unusual for the Watford pitch, but it was all right and it will be all right. But they're just saying it was made for rugby. The thing about rugby is they like their grass a bit longer than the football pitch. They actually prefer a longer bit of grass. So it's very hard to say. They didn't look like there was much grass at all. So that Andy, I've got to be honest with you, that pitch certainly is way off being good enough for the rugby. I'd have thought. You know, they like to have a nice bit of long grass. But
why couldn't they reverse the fixture and have it at Rotherham's ground? Just whip it round, do their own game, so they have the home game. It just seemed to be a late call, didn't it?
Yeah, maybe not all rugby clubs do like the longer. I'm going, but I mean, when I did play rugby, they did. The pitches definitely had longer grass than football, but that was at a lower. Well, it wasn't lower them days. It was a free-for-all rugby them days. No professional leagues at all. But yeah, no, you're right. You're right, Andy. I guess at Coventry, the pitch priority would go to Wasps, wouldn't it?
Yeah. I think he's a big part of the season starting earlier. It's definitely played a part in it.
Yeah, I think it must be. Yeah,
and the weather we've had has been.
They have short grass, but Wasps don't play that much in rugby. Okay, let's get off the rugby chat. Right, so we've touched on football pitches. Right, okay. So on Friday night, Watford played Sheffield United. I don't know if you've seen, I did put some footage through to you guys. I don't know, all those who are listening, watching, see what went on. But what went on was actually an absolute disgrace. Watford need to look into this and really I've not looked and seen whether there's any comeback on this. Basically, it was a medical emergency in the Sheffield United end. You may, if you watch the telly, if you've been watching the game, you would have heard them saying, "Oh, we don't want this, people getting on the pitch and all this and everything else." And was it Monday night? Monday night. Sorry, Ian, it was Monday night. Sheffield United game. Anyway, lost track of days. But so basically, Sheffield United fans were trying to get assistance for this medical emergency and no one was helping them. So they had a result of getting on the pitch and causing a kerfuffle, a couple of them getting nicked. They were doing it to get the attention so that they could get the medical attention. The stewards did fuck all. Even the police didn't bleed and do nothing. In the end, Watford supporters were getting involved as well, trying to get attention. And this went on for so long. The game got stopped because they thought there was pitch invaders. I just think it's an utter disgrace. I think is this. Yes, we know that there's a big problem with this pitch invasion thing, and that's probably a little bit cry wolf, you could say, I suppose. But come on, Watford, this has to be better. If you've got a medical emergency, what on earth is going on when fans are having to get on the pitch, to get arrested on the pitch to try and get medical attention?
There's cameras there, Gal. No, I can't believe if that was a fight in that way in. If there was a fight, they would have been there in seconds, wouldn't they? They would have been there. It took 3 minutes, 3.5 minutes for them to get a medical attention. In a, I don't know, there was 18. I don't know what the crowd was there. Everyone's screaming and shouting. It's it was a serious illness, wasn't it? I think the guys, the fellas, he spent the night in hospital. He had some sort of fit. I'm not sure what it was, but he's okay now. But he was in a bad way. He needed quickly attention to. Yeah.
Sorry, David's put up there. It was a disgrace, but read the new rules. I don't know if David, you wouldn't mind elaborating on that new rule. I mean, if it's reference to stopping the game if they see it, I get that. Don't get me wrong.
Or coming on the pitch. I think
they stopped the game because of that.
I think. Forget everything else. This is down to the steward who's alerted straight away. whoever the steward was, he's obviously turned a blind eye to it, and he hasn't bothered. So the buck's got to stop with him, I think, at the moment. You know, that's led to the fans having to invade the pitch to get the attention.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever steward was nearest to that trouble where that guy was suffering, or whoever it was.
There's a lady, I believe, someone's just said.
They obviously haven't listened, do they? They've just shut their ears and decided they're not going to listen to anyone. So that's where it's got to start at, I think. You know, you can call Watford a disgrace and all that lot, but it comes down to that steward that was initially told. Surely he's not doing his job properly if he's not listening.
Oh, you're absolutely right. I think I just hope Watford do look at this, because at the end of the day, Watford employ the stewards.
I think hopefully lessons will be learned from it, and obviously it's a big thing about pitch invasions at the minute. It's everywhere, isn't it? You can't. So it was probably a bit of a.
I think what was really bad, it was timed, and there was a lad there, not a Watford supporter, but there was a lad right there in the Watford enclosure who was filming it for podcasts, and that's where I was able to get a really good insight into what had happened. And it was like 3.5 minutes it took to get that person attention from the point of them trying to flag it up. 3.5 minutes. The game stopped, then restarted, and still that fan had no attention. Watford fans started getting involved, trying to get wave people, and I just think, you're absolutely right. This the buck stops with the team of stewards, and there's a head steward in there. There'll be a deputy head steward in there, and then they'll have their underlings around them. The club got to look at this and try and understand why, and it must never happen again, because 3.5 minutes is dependent on what the illness is a matter of dying or not dying. If it's hard.
I mean, there's been far too many of these incidents where people have been taken ill for whatever reason in football grounds. It seemed to be a lot last season, but to be fair, a lot of them have been dealt with well. You've had the club physios coming in, and they've been dealt with quick. But something broke down with the communication.
Something broke down. I just hope the club do investigate it and find out, and obviously do something to improve the stewarding at Watford in that respect. So okay, that was that one. Okay, let's have a look. Go into a bit of controversy now. I think in a moment we're going to touch on the fact that the Premier League have now said that they are not going to take any more other than for special events. We'll touch on that in a minute. But before we do that, the cost of food and beverages at West Ham United, it's eye-watering. That's mad.
$7.30 a pint.
Well, if you want a Heineken, and let's face it, Heineken ain't the best lager in the world, is it? You know what I mean? It's like, all right, you can get a Maratti there. It's £7.60.
$2.50 for a packet of crisps, and that's a little packet.
Coca-Cola, a bottle of Coca-Cola, 500ml bottle, £4.50. I mean, come on.
You ain't going to get this there, are you?
I mean, this is wrong. This is wrong. Anyone on there watching us now? I mean, this is so wrong, isn't it? I mean,
even Nobby's salted nuts are $2.50. But it's not. We've found that since it's not West Ham who are doing it. It's the stadium owners or the people who own the stadium. But it's not on. Doesn't make it right, does it?
Surely. I mean.
The club should the club. I mentioned this on our Facebook page. Shouldn't the club subsidise the fans, give them a coupon or something to subsidise? They shouldn't have to.
How's it subsidising, right? Let's think about this, particularly with West Ham, right? So West Ham ain't got the big overheads like other clubs.
No,
because they haven't, because the stadium isn't there. It's been almost financed for them, so the overheads are not there, right? I mean, whether it's the club, whether it's the owners of the ground. It's daylight robbery. I mean, subsidised. We're talking a bottle of Coke, excuse me, that you can buy. I mean, even in these service stations, it's £2.50. And now I think that's a bit naughty, because you can buy them for $1.25 in the co-op. Do you know what I mean? It's like you go on a service station, £2.50, £4.50. What's that all about? I mean,
people will pay it though when they're in there, and all, won't they? That's the thing. Some people will pay it.
You know, this again. I mean, if this is similar at other clubs, I'd love to know. Let us know. I mean, what prices are you paying? I mean, this is surely.
A Leeds fan said earlier, Ellen Road, he thought $5.50 for a pint was a lot of money on Saturday, and this just blows it out of the water.
I mean, pre-pandemic, it was about $4.50 on average, wasn't it? I mean, we're moving into a financial crisis. People can't afford to pay or so we're told. You know, that people can't afford to pay their heating and their food, and yet the football clubs seem okay with letting people stiff their fans something rotten.
And it's 55,000 season tickets they've sold at West Ham. 55,000. So you're robbing your own fans,
though, aren't they? I mean,
they've Phil Crichton, they're a good price.
I mean,
but
like Watford's season ticket pricing is very good. But I mean, again, we can talk about Premiership all day long. It's just money. Your customers now. You're not that. Bloodline of the club that's gone on for generations. You're a customer. Gary Harris, when you go to football grounds, you have to pay by card now. I don't think that's all grounds, but I think that's majority. A lot of the Premier League now, I think, cashless now, aren't they? I'm sure Watford's cashless, actually. Witherspoons don't run football clubs.
Talking about season tickets, Gout, Palace, there was a big uproar because you can't just transfer your ticket. I haven't got a season ticket because obviously my job work shift there, so I borrow my brothers or my mates if they can't go. But you couldn't do it. The only way you could do it was buy a season ticket plus. So Palace season ticket for a day was £550, which is reasonable.
Yeah.
But you have to pay £50 on top if you want it to be able to give your ticket to someone else, which is a joke, which is outrageous. So Steve Parish, fair play, when he went on Twitter and he announced they're going to change it. So if you want to transfer your ticket to someone else to go, because you'd have empty seats. When they change all the game times and days, some people can't go. So but you've still got to pay a £10 admin fee for a ticket that was already sold.
Watford had a scheme where they wanted to get bums on seats, and if you didn't turn up, I think it was 3 times to a game, you lose your season ticket.
Fucking hell.
Without you had to ring them. You're supposed to ring them, and they'll give you £12.50 back or something it was. And I'm sure.
How many times do kick-off times get changed a season, doesn't it?
And they go and sell it.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I come a cropper because there was a couple of times where I was struggling with work to get there, and it was all like so. And it happens, doesn't it? You know what I mean? I want to go to the game, but I'm working. I'm going to finish at 1. If I hurry up, get down there, and then you finish at 2, you're bollocks. It does happen, and I bet they don't do it anymore. I think it got scrapped. But anyway,
there's a West Ham had a petition signed and all about not making everything on your phone and digital, because some people, older people, they have mobile phones. You've got to have your code and all that to get in the ground on it's all paperless.
Do you know I hate the thought of having it fit on my phone, mate. I won't have everything on my phone on the pure basis that if I lose my phone, I lose my life. So I won't have there's lots. I won't do all that pay on the phone or nothing. So yeah, I get that. I don't like having it fit on the phone. Well, it's all in one place, and you lose your phone. I mean, and I've done that plenty of times.
Left it on top of your car last time.
Well, that's a funny story. Can I tell you that? Then we get on to the last subject, which is going to be, I guess, quite politically dodgy. So yeah, I did. The funny thing about that story is I put my phone on the top of my car. It was a sad day. I was coming back from Little Isla Caton's funeral in London, and I got to the car park at the crematorium, put my coat in, and while I was doing all that, I took the coat off, put it in the car, put my phone on top of the car. But anyway, I left it there. I've got in the car. I'm driving. I rings up Simon Wilton, who's ain't been on the show for a while, bless him, but they got issues that they're dealing with. And I'm driving along, chatting away to Simon. Right, I've gone 4 miles, and then I get on the M25. I put my foot down a bit, and I'm chatting away to Simon. And the next thing I hear, bump, bump, bump. Simon cuts dead. phone gone. And then I realised it dawned on me what I'd done. So for 4 mile, I'm chatting at Simon with the phone on the roof through Bluetooth. M25, pick up a bit of speed. Whoop, gone. Anyway, never mind. Right, okay, last subject. And then...
Ian Hiles puts on here, Witherspoons don't run football clubs, sadly.
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, that... I mean, Witherspoons make a fortune out of football supporters, don't they? Let's be honest. I mean, where most supporters head for Witherspoons. Why? Because they're not going to get ripped off.
If you had Witherspoons in grounds, you'd miss most of the second half by the time you walk the toilet back.
You would. You miss the whole game, you would.
In all fairness, I mean, I was in Witherspoons down in Cornwall on holiday. And, mate, I could get a pint of Stella for like £3.50.
Listen, there's a bar in Stafford called Hogarth's, right? I'm not kidding you. I'll go there and have a few drinks with my mate Mondays and Thursdays. Pint of cider, pint of lager and lime, £4.80. £2.40 a pint. You can't go wrong with that.
That's brilliant. Yeah.
But sadly, there ain't enough bars doing it.
Didn't I last week? I mentioned them Geordies that got me pissed when I went up there for the weekend for the game, and they took me to the Beehive. And every Geordie now will be laughing again because they know the Beehive. The Beehive is renowned for being so cheap. Just mad, mate. That was even cheaper than
you don't get stung in there, girl, do you?
No. No. Right. Okay. Last subject for tonight. So Premier League, and I have a bit of a view on this. On why maybe they've stopped. But the Premier League have suddenly announced, right, okay, we're going to stop taking the knee. We'll still take the knee on certain holidays, i.e. Boxing Day, on special events and FA Cup games. They're going to stop taking the knee. It's caused, like it did right from the very beginning, some division between people saying it's right, saying it's wrong. I have a little bit of a view on this. I think there's been a lot of noise about the fact that they do this, yet they're quite happy to go to Qatar. It just seems convenient, doesn't it? That they decided to do it now, a few months before the World Cup.
Are England going to stop taking it, though, are they?
Oh, I don't know. It's the Premier League, isn't it? So, you know, are like Watford, are they going to stop doing it because of Premier League, or are they going to carry on? So it's only the Premier League that have announced this, no one else. So, you know, some non-league clubs do it. Some of the, I mean, on Monday night, Sheffield United didn't, Watford did. You know, it's.
I think we've spoken it before. It stopped right. It started off. It was so because it was what it was associated to begin with, George Floyd, and then people say it didn't come from it. Well, it did. That was the whole big exposure. So there was. No one in their right mind has got a problem with anti-racism message. That goes without question. If you have, then you've got no time for you. But it's become so divisive with people, and it depends what side of the political fence you sit on as well. When you read comments, there's people from centre left or centre right, and they're all disagreeing about it. Even black guys I know on the. I think I mentioned this last week, who are sort of centre right conservative thinkers, they don't agree with it. They think because of what it connects his head, it's all got lost. I think it's right.
I've disagreed with it from day one because, and this is where I really got pissed off about the whole thing, was because look, it started off in support of BLM, right? And that went on for a little while, and there was booing at the grounds and whatever else because people didn't agree because BLM was found to be a bit of a naughty organisation for the wrong reasons. What pissed me off the most about this whole thing with the knee, it wasn't the message. I agree with the message. I do wish that they had, when it was realised that this BLM wasn't what it was maybe originally thought, I just wish they'd have changed the gesture, you know. But what pissed me off the most about it was this constant, oh, it wasn't about that. Oh, it wasn't about that. As if we're stupid. And that's what I think really pissed me off. You know, it was what it was. It was about BLM. That's why people got a bit cheesed off with it. It wasn't wanted. And all these players, all these clubs, all the media tried to tell us, no, it weren't about that. Yet they'd walk around with it on the back of their tops. They'd walk around with the big banners on the seats because the stands were empty. Come on, it was about that. Just change your thing. And one last comment, which will get me shot, is I'm sorry, but I don't agree. There was a number of players doing the Black Power salute at the same time. And I don't agree with that either. So I think, yeah, it was divisive. I never agree with it. Good fucking riddance, in my view. But there we are.
Didn't Troy Deeney come up and with a new design for it, didn't he, when they changed it? And he came up with a
perfect. Would have been perfect.
But no, he came up with a design. It was a fist. It was exactly the same as what it was anyway.
I don't know.
It was
it's a different gesture, but that is depends on the colour of your skin. I don't know whether that's white or Black Power salutes, but that's what they are. You know, and it just pisses me off that they try to criticise us as fans, not criticise. Sorry, they treat us like we're thick and think that no, it wasn't because of that. Well, what was it then? You wandered around with it on your fucking tops. You had it all over the stadiums. You had it all over your Sky TV screens. What was it then? Change, just a small change or whatever. But there was no need for the fists either. That was wrong as well. You know, you've got to move forward as together in racism and not divided. And everything that they do now is to divide. And you have to. The only way we're going to combat racism is doing it together, not apart, together. And this and other things that have been done through media is all about division. And I'm not going to go into the political side of things because you know there's agendas in the ivory towers. They use football for their ends. So I'll shut my mouth now.
Biggest platform in the world, football, isn't it?
And it's used for everything. I mean, as a football fan, you're bewildered, aren't you? Because you're expected to support and get behind things that you don't necessarily agree with. You know.
Yeah, someone's mentioned Ivan Toney didn't take it. Will Saar stopped taking it. And it wasn't because it was BLM. He stopped taking it because it was just wasn't making any difference. It was still getting social media abuse from players.
There's only one statement that you can say, right, about any of this bullshit that went on, because that's what it was. There's only one thing you can say about it. Again, you will only combat this together. We have to be together. You have to be as one. And everything they do is to divide us. And we mustn't let that happen. Black, white, brown, yellow, whatever your colour, you have to be together and fight it together. Don't allow... yeah, we got that now as well, haven't we? That's the latest one. You know, again, oh dear. But no, I'm going to shut up now because I
might have to Google that word.
Yeah, I want you to try and say that word, Gary.
Mate, I've seen so much of it since the Lions won their game. Misogyny, the word's ingrained now.
Yeah.
Misogyny in the men's game. God, them hockey girls didn't bring it home, did they? They got beat by Australia.
Oh, did they? Didn't see that.
Yeah, shame.
I've just seen Haaland's 2 goals. I'll tell you what, he's going to be dangerous this year.
He's paced to get through to win the penalty.
Yeah, even the second goal.
Brilliant run as well, wasn't it?
Yeah. I think once they start knowing his runs and they know where he's going, he's going to score a hatful.
But no, you mentioned it last week. Man City looked off the pace against Liverpool, and they did look off the pace today, although they still dominated the game.
Yeah. But, so think what they'll be like when they are on the pace.
Yeah.
Oh, here we are. The ladies run gold. But oh, right. Andy, I thought I heard it the other. I started watching that hockey. I'll be honest.
So it's just
I
hockey.
did start watching the hockey. I didn't.
Yeah.
I had to go and do some work for my mum, but at her house. But so I missed the second half. So they won the gold. Oh, fair play. And oh boy, they knew every word to Jerusalem. Them girls, when they sang it, every word. Better than me. What we got? Because we will finish. But so what's this? Just a quick one. Lionesses are playing at Stokes Ground. All those stalls. I don't know. Are we going back to this where he shit and the keeper went to save it, and now they're playing stalls. Is it stalls? Stalls ground sold 25 tickets, 25,000. You know what? I've got to say, I'm going to say because I am really going to get myself shot down. You know, the ladies won 2-1. I misheard it. I'm really happy about that, Andy. Brilliant. I'm just going to say this. You know what? They've sold 25,000 tickets for an England game. That's great. That's brilliant. Let's see how many tickets they sell. And this is where they've got to stop this comparison game. You know, the comparisons coming. I didn't want to do this, did I?
No.
I really didn't want to do this. But they have. They've got to stop this comparison game from both sides of the fence because it's just a joke and it's going to create so much negativity around women's football. You know, there is no comparison. The women's game needs to stand on its own 2 feet. How on earth they're affording the wages that they are playing with when the average attendance is 1,900 and yet they've got players on 200-300 grand a year. You know, I don't know how they afford it, but hey ho, if they do, fair enough. But look, the women's game, great, absolutely brilliant result. And let's hope, you know, the game develops, the kids get to be able to play it at school. Absolutely 100% behind it. But you've got to look at it as a sport of its own, in its own right.
I'm looking forward to the when they play America. I think they might be playing USA in a friendly.
They've got Brazil in a match, haven't they? They're playing Brazil next.
And I will watch. I'll look forward to that to see if against the best teams in the world.
They will sell the tickets, but they've got to. This comparison, it's got to be viewed as its own sport in its own right, and I'm sure the women want that. Yeah. You know, I mean, you're getting criticised now. Oh, the atmospheres and all that. I don't care, mate. You know,
I said to you, Gail, there was someone who mentioned our page. Oh, it's nice to see the atmosphere. It was a really good crowd, and there's none of that toxic masculinity. And I just thought, well, that's what we go for. That's what we love. But I said to you, I thought,
let's have our bloody football.
But you're going to have to.
If you don't like the atmosphere in a football ground, go and watch the women.
Yeah, you've got a choice now, haven't you?
Yeah, but you know, they're just jumping on this bandwagon. They don't want traditional fans there. They don't like the atmosphere. They don't like swearing in the ground. I won't take my kids because there's too much bad language. Go watch the women because that's fantastic atmosphere, that type of thing. And good luck to them and great.
She didn't hold back from swearing on the pitch, did she? Jill Scott. She gave that German player a big mouthful.
You know, we've got this constant beating up of traditional football supporters, and I explained all this before. This is why there's a lot of negativity towards women's game, because the traditional fan, who's generally a bloke, who looks forward, it's been passed down in generation from father to son, son to grandson. It's been passed down. This passion and this absolute life bond with a club. It's not just a game. It's not just a sport. You're not just a fucking customer, right? Like they're trying to, keep banging your drums, lads. Keep fucking swearing at football if that's what you want to do. Don't let them take it away from us. I've had enough of it. Fucking enough of it, I tell you. And now the women's sport is being used to beat us up even more. And they wonder why we get negative. Sorry, everyone. I really am, but
don't sit on the fence, girl.
I won't.
I know you're right. Yeah.
Absolute load of bollocks. Why are we not allowed to have that sport? They price us out. They make it prawn sandwich brigade. For 150 years, it's been a masculine event going to football, whatever you want to call it. Women have never been excluded, and if they enjoyed it, they could come along and have their knees up. But that's what it was about. Get behind the side. Yes, there was banter with the away fans. Yes, it was not necessarily all, we love you, do come again. It was never like that. It never will. Well, I don't know. Maybe one day when we're all gone. But while we're not gone, mate, it's like they're taking something away from us. And I'm afraid the women's game is going to be used as a baseball bat, and that ain't right.
No,
and that's why women's games get negativity. And I fully support the women's wanting to play football. Crack on, absolutely.
Like I said, Gail, be driven by market forces. The women's game, how much sponsorship comes in, how many people attend. That's what it'd be driven by, and I don't think it's gonna. Well, I hope it does, but then it's like you say, we just got to treat it as a different game. It's a different.
You got 2 games on the same day. The women are playing and the men are playing. You got girls that go and watch the men's football, passionate supporters of the team. what choice are they going to make? They're going to go to the women's match or they're going to go to the men's match? I think there's only one answer there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you're right. I mean, maybe it'd be two different breeds of supporter that go to the different games. You know, it's quite clear there's a lot of people don't want us traditional fans who do go there, did go for a knees up and a laugh and a beer and a crack with the lads and the lasses who went along with us. You know, it was never, women have never been excluded, but it just was that thing. And a lot of the women that are really passionate about their football is because it's been passed down from their dads, their great granddads, their granddads. It's that passion being passed down. And this is where I get so pissed off listening to all these people on radio and all these so-called pundits of football. You know, it ain't just a game.
Ian Hiles, when does the England men's netball team play next?
But it ain't just a game. You know what I mean? It's not. And it's an embedded passion that their life is surrounded by that game. And now you are now just a customer. And that's why I think there's so much, like me now, look at the state of me. You know, I'm getting off because it's just been battering us year in, year out. You know what I mean? Now it's like people ringing up TalkSport. Well, I won't take my children to football because of the bad language.
They were saying the managers have got to stop swearing. One of them, the managers swear and they set a standard, but we all, well, not everyone swears, but it's just part of life, isn't it? It's just,
you know, maybe the good thing might happen here is hopefully the women's sport can generate itself, and obviously the England team at the moment there's a big wave of motion towards them, and they're going to get some good support. You know, maybe if they can build these women's clubs up, they don't even necessarily. Why do they have to be associated with men's clubs? They don't. Surely they used to have Doncaster Bells. I mean, there used to be a lot of women's sides out there that weren't associated with the men's clubs.
I bet they got priced out, Gal. I think it's few. Man United come in out of nowhere a couple of years ago and started up, and the Doncaster Bells are a massive side, weren't they?
It's all about money. And sorry, everyone, I had a proper flip there, didn't I? And I shouldn't do that, but that's how I feel, you know. And I think it's how many thousands of supporters that have been going as long as I have feel the same way. I really do, and I don't know what's next.
Are you on tonight, Nige? You on your mixed crowd later on?
Yeah, I'll be on after Gary's finished talking about women's football,
I'm shutting up.
which we weren't going to speak about.
Yeah.
I am shutting up.
See if he can phone in on your show, Nige. Can he talk a bit more about it?
Mate, listen, we said we wouldn't talk about it because I said I'm only going to rant if we start, and we got right to the end and. Oh, bollocks. Sorry, everyone. Passion.
Mind your language, Gary.
Yeah, it's passion.
It's not the proper Football Live show without Gary having a rant.
A what?
A rant.
I thought you started the fucking screen a bit early. Anyway.
So listen, Watford, West Brom tomorrow.
Oh,
if they win that, they're off to a flyer, mate. And that's two of the sides we talked about getting promoted this year.
I thought.
Is it up at the Hawthorns? Is it, Nige? Is it away?
Yeah, I thought we looked quite good up front. The only fear you got is, like you say, is you know, Pedro. Everyone says no, he won't leave the club. My view is after that performance on Monday, there'd probably be a few. Scouts alerted to him now, and it will be. I mean, if someone wants to come with enough money, he will go, won't he? But Dennis, I really don't think Dennis will be there by the end of August. And Sarr, well, I don't know. I don't really rate him. It's, you know what I mean. I don't think he's that good. He is good, but he ain't that good, I don't think.
It's a tough test up there, though. Well fancied, West Brom, aren't they? So I think they got off to a draw, didn't they, in their first game?
Ian's saying 2-0 to Watford. Yeah, very possibly. I think if Watford up the front three play the way they did, I think West Brom will struggle to contain them.
Where'd that young Brazilian come from then? Was he picked up from?
Pedro.
Yeah.
He's been with us a couple of seasons, really. Just like, mate, it's just weird at Watford, isn't it? We signed so many players, half of them we don't even see. You know, we don't even see them. But yeah,
it's different managers. You know, like sometimes these players aren't playing. They can't play for certain managers. Then you get a manager that comes in, and all of a sudden unlocks a little bit of potential out of the player.
Yeah.
Maybe
I think he's always had it there, Pedro. He's always looked good. He's always since we bought him. But like I say, they buy so many. I mean, we sold one guy, and I can't remember his name now, but it's someone I'm sure will correct me. But 20 million quid, we sold him to a German club, I think, and he'd never even played for us. So and that's it with Watford. It's like really weird. They trade in players that.
You made a good point there, Nigel, about players not playing with certain managers. Like I watched Donny van der Beek come on today, and he's been with the Man United previously in Holland, I think it was at Ajax, and you've had two managers who ain't fancying him at all, and I think the Man United manager said, "I can't believe the player of Donny van der Beek's skill and how good he is hasn't got to go." But he come on today as a sub, and he actually looked quite good.
Yeah.
So maybe it is a case of just getting the best out of a player. Just managers bring a certain thing out of them, but see how that one goes.
We've run 12 minutes over, chaps. That's mainly down to my rant not about women's football, but about the way we are attacked. And the women's game is being used for
He's off again.
Yeah? I just need to. Now I'm a bit calmer. I just need to make sure people understand. I was not attacking the women's game.
Yeah.
I was attacking the whole effort to turn football into a cinematic experience rather than the experience we all love and starting to miss a bit, really. But anyway, there we are. I suppose best we chill out. Let's go round the table very quickly. And there you go. Ian's correcting me. It was Adobe Luke Bakio. Adobe Luke Bakio. Something like that. Everyone knows how bad I am at pronunciations, mate. He went to Berlin for 20 million quid, and yet he'd never graced the pitch for us. Right. Okay, Nige, anything more from you before we go?
No. Like I said, I'll be on my Mixcloud probably in about an hour. But just fingers crossed for a Watford win tomorrow.
Yeah, and jump on Mixcloud's Nigel every day of the week. Dan, you're doing Mixcloud.
I am.
When do you just go off on the ad hoc, like?
Yeah, I'll just pop it out again. Just look out for Dan Slawson.
A bit of ours?
Or Mixcloud, a little bit of ours, soul, funk, disco.
Keep an eye out for Dan. I'm sure we can get it put up on our pages when these two guys. And I must admit, I'm missing doing a bit of the DJing. We might have a little team going, eh? And maybe we could warm Nigel's show up of an evening. I am thinking about it. But anyway, I think I need the music to calm me down. Chill me out. Gentlemen, it's been a pleasure. Everyone who watches this and watches this in replay, please remember, don't bother commenting after now. But yeah, hope you've enjoyed the show. I hope I've not offended anyone and you don't want to cancel me, but there we are. Anyway, what's that? DJ Knob Jockey.
That's Andy, isn't it? Yeah, he's talking about me, Nigel, not you.
Yeah. I need a lot of music then. Yeah, mate. I'm just passionate about football that I grew up with, and I feel we're under attack. Anyway, let's shut up. Enjoy Nigel tonight at what time? About 8:30, 9?
8:30. Yeah, if I'm going at 8:30, I will. I was going to go in at 8:30 because I thought we was finishing at 7:30.
We were supposed to be, but right, I'm going. That's it. Everyone, we love you all. Join us again next Sunday, where I promise not to rant.
Yeah.
We've just lost a lot of viewers doing that, but anyway. Right, go on.
Yeah,
See you later, guys. See ya.
Shabba.